Welcome to the Chelsea Fans Channel. In lieu of our massive match against Arsenal this weekend, I thought the only thing we could do to find out how Arsenal fans are feeling about this game is to invite my dear friend Poet onto the channel. So Poet, how are you feeling?
Hungry. The thing is though, I can't eat for some strange reason. I feel like it's like mild depression, but it will be sorted out very soon.
Nice to know you're hungry, and I promise that we can rectify that after this.
Bless you.
How are you feeling about the huge fixture at the Emirates on Sunday?
It's not huge. It's one team competing for the title, one team fighting for relegation. So last season it was huge. Now it's just like, oh, look at Chelsea. Nah, it is still a big game. Do you know what I mean? London derby, and I'm just more confident now because there's no Mourinho. I always feel like when we play Chelsea with Mourinho, it's a different outfit to Chelsea without Mourinho. So I look at the 5-3 win at Stamford Bridge. I look at the time when we beat you 3-1. I think Walcott, Cesc, and Song. And I always feel much more confident playing you without Jose Mourinho. With Jose Mourinho, there's just something you have on us. Yeah. Even the first game of the season that we played, not the Community Shield, the one after we lost 2-0, I don't think you lot were that much better than us in the game whatsoever.
No, it was a sending off that turned that game, wasn't it?
And then you look at that sending off, and that's the difference between us probably maybe nicking it or getting at least a point. And I'm just like, come Emirates, or AKA the carpet, on Sunday, it's a whole different conversation.
Is that something that would worry you though, Pope? Because Chelsea this season has been abysmal, and you know when you played at Stamford Bridge, that was in the midst of a really, really poor Chelsea team, and you lost 2-0. I know there were other factors as to why you lost, but you still lost 2-0. Is that a problem?
No, it's like the equivalent of like, you could be a fighter. When you were younger, you got beat up by this boy bigger than you. As you've got older, you've battered everyone. And that same boy that beat you up when you were younger, he's got that sort of mental hold all over you. And I just feel like Mourinho had that mental hold over Wenger, where he probably beat Wenger before they even got into the game, a bit like Muhammad Ali. Yeah. So now that he's gone and he's got good hitting, a little bit more reserved, a bit more professional, I just think Wenger's definitely gonna, especially after I was at the game on Saturday, like with this really beautiful French girl, and courtesy of Adidas, and I'll be honest with you lot, man, you lot were Kieran Dyer, man, you lot were awful, like absolutely awful. For you lot to celebrate the way you did in the last minute, well, I wouldn't say the last minute, it was the 98th minute when it should have been 97 minutes, with a man that scored a fantastic own goal, and he was offside. I was like, mate,
surely, though, I mean, look. It was a low moment for a Chelsea fan in a way. You know, we went bonkers about a home win against Everton. However,
a draw.
A home draw against Everton. However, it's does it not symbolise an element of fight? Like what Chelsea have been lacking this season. What really upset a lot of fans is the desire wasn't there, the will to win wasn't there, the fight, the spirit, the tenacity, all wasn't there. In that game, to come back the way we did, Everton scored in the last minute. We didn't lose that game. Isn't that something that you should be fearful of?
Nah, no. Mate, it was 3-3 against Everton. Like, Everton are 11th, you lot are 14th. On top of that, it was the 98th minute. You had 8 minutes to get an equaliser. Should I be afraid of that? Nah, because I don't think the same thing's going to happen this weekend. You're not going to get 8 minutes to get an equaliser. Do you know what I mean? I think it's a whole different game. You've got to approach it completely different. You know, 2-0 down at the Emirates to Arsenal is completely different to 2-0 down to Everton at home.
Yes, of course.
So I just feel this weekend, especially with Özil coming back, Sanchez coming back, you're gonna have to deal with too many problems.
So you're confident?
Oh, very confident. Yeah, 100%.
And if you were to win this game, if Arsenal win this game, you have to say that they are looking good for the Premier League.
No, it's not gonna win the league. They're not gonna win the league.
That's the spirit, Poet. That's the spirit.
I just gotta be honest, man. Like, I look at Manchester City's side, and I look at Arsenal, for example, on Saturday against Stoke. Not for 1 point in that game did I think we were gonna score. And that's a problem for me. And it was because the likes of Özil and Sanchez weren't playing, but not for one moment did I think we were gonna score.
Did you think you were going to win the game at Anfield?
Yeah, I did. I thought we were going to win the game at Anfield, and again, in stoppage time, last minute, Joey Allen comes off looking like Pirlo and gets an equaliser. But Man City's a different, I feel like, proposition in a game like that. I just feel like when I watched them against Watford, 1-0 down, you're thinking, yeah, don't worry, it's hold and dry. And then they just win 2-1 with 2 incredible goals. And I'm just like, do Arsenal have that type of capability to be playing a stagnant, boring game and then score a fantastic goal out of nothing? I don't know.
I see what you mean. So with City doing what they're doing, the trouble is now for Arsenal, they're in a situation where if you're going to win the Premier League overall, a draw at the Britannia is okay.
That's
a draw at Anfield is okay. And a draw with Chelsea would be okay under normal circumstances. But in a row, you can't draw 3 games in a row or potentially lose. You have to beat Chelsea. I don't think you can now because it would mean that in the last 3 games you'd have taken 3 points, say it's a draw. You need to win this game, don't you?
Man City have lost 5 games. We're in January. So
Yeah.
I can't even predict the Premier League. Leicester City are bloody second, so I don't know what's going on. So can we draw on Sunday? Yeah, I just don't think we will. I genuinely do not think we will. I think we're going to win that game. And I think we're going to win quite comfortably as well.
Really? And if Chelsea were to cause you a problem, like obviously, you know, we've had our fair share of problems this season, but if it goes wrong for Arsenal and therefore right for Chelsea, who's the fear? I'm praying, I'm desperate for Diego Costa to be fit. If he is he the man that you're scared of?
No, Diego Costa, to be fair, is a decent striker, but his biggest element to his game is the fact that he gets under the skin of the opposition. Now, the only person he got under the skin of last time I got sent off was Gabriel, and that's because I don't think he's possibly used to that type of... He might have been used to it, I don't know, but he just literally...
He got to him, didn't he?
I don't think he can get to Per Mertesacker. I don't think he can get to Koscielny. I don't think he can get to Bellerin. I don't think he'll get to Monreal.
I'd agree. In fact, if something happens out of those, it will go the other way. Costa will lose his temper rather than...
100%, and I think Costa's going to find it very frustrating at the Emirates because one thing Chelsea done that made no sense to me, at home to Everton, you play 2 DMs, and that just says you're going to invite pressure. Now, the problem you've got at the Emirates is, are you going to try and play football against Arsenal because you'll lose, or are you going to try and invite pressure because then that way you'll lose? I don't see how you can win. Cesc Fabregas, I'll tell you what, mate, how long it takes him to do 360, I can go to the shop, get a pint of milk, pour it on my cereal, eat it, come back, and then he's probably halfway through that 360 spin. I'm just like, this guy is a shadow of the man he used to be.
Do you know, Cesc Fabregas has had a bad season. However, the last 3 or 4 games he has been looking good. He's coming into form just at the wrong time for you.
Not at all, because we are... Seriously, I genuinely think that Cesc Fabregas is just a shadow of the man he used to be. When I look at the Chelsea team, I think, who am I afraid of? Willian, an incredible footballer. Yeah. He doesn't care if Chelsea are playing great, poor, whatever, he always turns up. Apart from that, mate, I look at that side and I'm just like...
Really?
It's
interesting to hear. It's interesting to hear that, Pope, because I didn't realise that. I still thought that Chelsea, although the results would indicate otherwise, I still felt that the club, like, you know, Manchester United had that year under Moyes. I was still worried about Manchester United. They were still a proposition. I still felt that Manchester United had it in them to take points off of our rivals, that sort of thing. Is there no fear in this Chelsea team for you?
No one's afraid of Chelsea no more, and that's a big problem because I remember when I used to play Chelsea, I used to be like, oh my God, Matic, what are we going to do about Matic? Oh, Aspilicueta, Ivanovic, Terry.
Yeah.
I used to think about all of these things, and now I'm looking at Chelsea and I'm just like, this team couldn't buy confidence and they've got enough money. So realistically, what are you going to do with a changing room full of players that were championship winners last year? You've got Eden Hazard, hasn't even scored this season, but he's too busy at the NBA.
He's unlucky not to score against you, though.
Yeah, but he didn't.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Do you know? I think that you're being slightly harsh on our chances because I've seen enough lately to make us think that there's an element.
3-3 at home at Everton.
Do you know what? I'm very interested here. Cesc Fabregas, would you boo or applaud?
Boo. 100% boo.
Undoubtedly, because 100%. He signed for a London rival.
Yeah. It's the equivalent of having my girlfriend. I am fully aware she's going to move on, but you move on with my next door neighbour. Like, come on, have a bit of decorum. Like, why someone in my area? And Cesc Fabregas, to me, a man that said he'll never play for Chelsea, kiss the badge, all of this. Yeah. He paid his way out of Arsenal for one, paid his way out of a club that, literally, he was never going to start at Barcelona. He was never good enough to start in that current crop. I'm not saying he's not a good player, but that crop of Barcelona players were far too good for him. So Arsenal gave him the opportunity to excel and build his career. Now, he said he would want to retire at Barcelona. Mate, he's gone down the road, West London, to a place full of money.
I understand why you boo. I understand why.
Seriously?
Yeah, I completely get it. I'm just very interested. I find it, we're in an era, aren't we, where a lot of people are adopting this very classy approach to football. You know, like they are giving round of applause to former players and things like that.
I'm not involved.
I'm not either. I'm quite pleased to hear you say that.
I don't care about Cesc Fabregas.
So, do you know how I said to you before? I was like, Diego Costa is the man to upset you. If it goes well for Chelsea, I'm sure that it will involve Costa on some level.
Okay.
Who do we need to be afraid of? Who's the man that could upset Chelsea's apple cart?
I saw Mikel. It looks like Gus Hiddink has a bit of faith in Mikel because he took off Matic. I don't know if it was an injury or anything like that, but he took off Matic and he kept on Mikel. So if you're going to have Mikel against Mesut Ozil, you've got a massive, massive problem. I think Mikel's not good enough to restrain Mesut Ozil for 90 minutes. He might do well in the opening 10-15 and get to grips with the game, but once Ozil gets a couple of touches under his belt, like, he's idolised at Arsenal now.
Is he really? Is he turned it round?
Completely. The fans are behind him. The club, I can see, are fully behind him. The players are behind him. He demands the ball. So now he's in a position where I think where he will excel purely because he knows he's the best player in the changing room. And when you've got that type of confidence when you walk onto the field and you have the ability to match it, that is when I feel like that's the perfect recipe for me. And I just feel if Chelsea keep him quiet, they've got more than half a chance. If they don't keep Özil quiet, everything will just go through Özil. Literally everything will just go through Özil. And then you saw what happened to Manchester United.
Yeah.
Annihilated in 20 minutes. And
so it's up to our holding midfielders. You know, I'd be tempted to kind of do a man-to-man, get Ramirez on him all game. If it really is down to kind of one man pulling the strings, get Ramirez on him, and I'm sure Ramirez could look after him. But no, he doesn't believe it. So quick, just before we finish, a quick score prediction from you, Pat. What do you think?
I'm going for like a 3-0, 3-1.
Rude. Absolutely rude. You're invited onto the Chelsea Fans Channel.
And I appreciate it.
You're my friend, and you do that.
Mate, you got to blame Mourinho and them guys at the bridge.
You know what? You blame people above Mourinho, but that's for another day. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and as always, make sure you check Poet out on Copa90. They do some wonderful stuff, and also comment below. Let us know your score predictions. Go on, you Blues. Welcome to the Chelsea Fans Channel. It's time for the transfer talk. A very dear friend of mine is joining us for this one. It's Joel from Cheeky Sport. Make sure that you check out their channel. It really is fantastic. Really good fun. And the link will be in the description below. Joel, thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much for having me, Rory.
Oh, mate, it's always a joy to see you. I just want to have a chat with you about some rumours that we're hearing and some transfer news that may be, coming along, because I'm a Chelsea fan. I know the Chelsea fans' perspective. I get loads of comments. So it's always nice to get a fun perspective from the boys at Cheeky Sport.